Brofists to you all! How are you doing today on this fine summer's evening? I hope it is as hot where you are as it is right here. It's absolutely red hot. I am wearing black. And I especially thank all of you who got my tweets, I assume. I was using the tweet machine. I'm not very good with Twitter. I know I should do things like tweet for you guys. Like, you know, I did something funny today. But I actually just really don't like social media. In general, I don't like the Facebook machine. I don't like the Twitter machine. Ghost is really good with it. Ghost tends to do most of the stuff. So most of the updates that you see on Facebook and stuff like that are actually from Ghosty. Not that it matters because we kind of think alike. We kind of think alike, so it works really, really well. I am, of course, all dressed in black, and the reason I tweeted is I was at a funeral all day today. Sad face. Yeah, I was at a funeral today for a grandfather who suddenly passed away last week. That is what happens in life, unfortunately. You get 10 minutes notice and then suddenly somebody's dead who you care about. That's what happens. I hope you guys don't have to attend a lot of funerals. I have attended 2 funerals in 4 weeks. That's right. We've had 2 members of the family die in the last 4 weeks. Older generations of families, so they lived a full and long life, and that's quite cool. I hope you guys don't have to, or haven't attended, or have to attend a lot of funerals like I'm starting to. I've hit that age. I'm 28 now. I've hit that age where people are starting to die on a more regular basis. Kind of sucks. It kind of sucks balls. You're like looking at older people who weren't that old when you were younger. They're like grandparents. Your grandma will always be there, right? And then you get to like 28 and you go through this stage of life. It's really weird. I'm going to get all philosophical on your ass right now. You fucking better believe it. It might be Friday. The sun might be out. But I'm wearing black, which means I'm getting all cereal on your ass. Super fucking cereal. Around about 23, 24... unless you live in somewhere where there's a lot of reality game shows or reality talk shows. You know, if you live near Maury Povich or Jeremy Kyle, for instance, this might not happen to you. But it happened to me. Around about 23, 24, all your friends start having kids. There is barely any of our friends left, or our circle of friends, which is relatively large, who don't have children or multiple children, including Ghost, including my nephew. They all have children now. That starts happening. Around about 28, people start dying. It's like this really weird circle of life is represented in a bit of a 4-year gap. It's really creepy, and when it starts happening, you will notice it as well. If you're not at that age yet, that shit's going to happen to you. It's really going to happen, and it's really creepy. So Emma's coming up to me saying, all our friends are having children. Do you think we've waited too late? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. We're going to have children next year. So there should be a baby baller on the way, around about next year sometime. We wanted to have a child in wedlock, so she wants to we're getting married in March next year, so that's when we're going to start trying for a child. But you go through this weird stage of life. However, as sad as funerals are, there's always something funny, especially if you find the lighter side in a lot of things. I find the lighter side in a hell of a lot of things. I really do. I tend to be the guy who tries to lighten up the mood, which isn't always appropriate, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I put my foot in it. But today wasn't like that. But there's always somebody, and you guys will notice this when you start maybe going to funerals, or perhaps you've already been to funerals and you've noticed this. There is always some girl, it's usually a girlfriend of somebody, who just cannot find appropriate dress for a funeral. Like, they've never been to a funeral before, but they're going out. They know there's going to be, like, drinks and stuff afterwards, and you're going to be in a sort of social event. And and they kind of think, well, I should wear dark colours, right? Because it's a funeral. So they got that in their head. I should wear a dark colour. But they just have no idea how to dress appropriately for a funeral. They really don't. They think it's sort of like going out afterwards. That's the important bit and not the funeral, because they didn't really know the person that died. So they're going, yeah, they're getting ready for the afternoon. Today was no exception at all. And this is the stuff that really makes me and Emma laugh. I mean, maybe we've got a twisted sense of humour, but we find this shit hilarious. We had one girl who was wearing black PVC pants, like literally like they were plastic, and they were stuck to her ass and her legs, and they were like adhesed all the way to it. It was like if you put a penny near that girl's ass cracked, it was gone forever. You don't want to put your wallet anywhere near this girl's ass. It is fucking disappearing. So she was wearing, and big high heel shoes as well, like black PVC pants with big high heel shoes, and it is roasting in the UK at the moment. We had the hottest day of the year 2 days ago. It's been hot ever since. It was really hot, uncomfortably hot while wearing all black. We weren't sweaty, but it was hot. So she's wearing like tight black PVC pants, and she's obviously so hot that she got that sweaty around the arse area. I mean, she was like a young girl, probably about 20, 22, something like that. But there was literally like sweat marks forming like her knees and her ass. It was hilarious. It was the funniest shit ever. And another girl And we were sat in the pub afterwards, and I didn't drink because I had the show to do, and I've got some more stuff to do tonight, which I'll talk about soon. So we were laughing at this girl, because I can't help it. That shit's hilarious. You're at a funeral. Why are you wearing that? The other girl, who's actually a granddaughter, was wearing, I don't know, a skirt so short that she had to hold it down like this. She's walking around like this. Before we'd even left, we had to meet at the house, and she's giving it all this. She's fucking walking around. And to the point where she had to borrow, like, the grandma's tights, like, to put on, because the skirt was, it was like a nightie. It's like, what the hell are you thinking about? When you put that on this morning, did you not think this is a little bit short? Just that kind of shit just really makes my day, you know? You've got to be cheery when that kind of shit happens. Let's move on with the Daily Preach, shall we? Yeah, exactly. It's not a skirt, it's a belt. It was pretty funny. But it's a funeral still, so it's a sad occasion. But that kind of stuff really just it distracts you from, like, the events that are going on. It's like really sad, and you think, what the fuck are you wearing? It's like, oh my god, my granddad's dead. I mean, I can't believe this happened. And it's like, are you wearing PVC pants? That's the thing that goes on in your head instantly. You're like, why are you wearing that? You know what I mean? It's just the stupidest shit in the fucking world. Really made me laugh anyway. So yeah, what's going on today? Well, there's been no main guide, which is kind of ridiculous. The Daily Preach isn't supposed to take over my normal work, but with the funeral stuff, I just didn't have time. I've done the Holy Priest guide, and I've done the next leveling guides, but they need a little bit more tweaking and editing. So apologies that you've had no major content video. My bad for that. But I wanted to get the Daily Preach out of the way, because we've just started it, and it'd be stupid to miss a day so soon. And we're filming tonight. I would like to get those videos out tonight. Maybe spend the time just finishing those editing and getting them out for you over the weekend. But as you know, it's the big game show tomorrow. The first time we're going to try this. So there's so many firsts going on. We've had the Daily Preach this week. Let me put the phone aside. I'm getting photographs left and fucking right. I started the Daily Preach this week. I also did my Years Behind thing, which wasn't very popular. Not many views on the Years Behind thing of Dead Space 1, which is kind of sad. It took me a long time to produce, but that's how you test the water. You try these things out and see what happens. I'm not going to give up on it though. I've got loads of games. I'm going to play through them. So brofists, please, I'm going to do a cut-off date time around 12 PM GMT tomorrow, so please get your brofist to me ASAP. Really do. I mean, there's like 43 of you watching this right now. Send me a picture, and you could be on the wall, or you could be behind me here. Do all that stuff. Send it to me. If you've got a mobile phone, you can send it, right? Okay? Send it to preachgaming@gmail.com, and please call it brofist, because you're going to be on the show tomorrow. You're going to be on the show tomorrow, but after 12 PM, I'm not going to accept any of you guys who send it in like an hour before the show. I used to do that, and it just drives me insane. It really doesn't. With the game show stuff, we're going to be doing a lot of work tonight. So I've got Ghost coming here to this place right here in about an hour. And then we're going to film everything for the game show. And tomorrow I'm going to be editing it. So I'm going to be really busy for the next 36 hours. There's not going to be much sleep involved. It's going to be really preparing to try and make it as good as possible. It's going to go wrong. It's going to be shit. There's going to be all sorts of things going wrong left and right. But tune in if you want. It starts 2 hours from when this... If you're watching this now, it's 2 hours from now. But it's 8 PM GMT. That's when it is. It's tomorrow night. Me and Ghost live. Your brofists and a game show. And obviously, we're going to be talking about some bigger topics of the week that we don't really talk about in the Daily Preach. Boosh! Sorted. Okay. First thing I wanted to talk about before we get onto the WoW stuff, because there's a few things I want to talk about, and you guys have been sending me emails about this particular topic that I'm going to get to next. First thing is PlanetSide 2. We talked about this in another Daily Preach. PlanetSide 2's beta is going public from Monday. Now, this is a big thing. PlanetSide 2 is an immense MMO FPS. Really cool, really awesome. It looks fantastic. It looks like it is definitely worth your time. It looks like it's definitely worth checking out. Even if you're not a huge fan of FPS, go and check it out. Go and check it out, because I guarantee you that even though you're not into it, there's something for everybody. In an MMO FPS, there's something for everybody. The support classes, if you're not into just ganking people and shooting people in the head, doesn't matter. The support classes become much more important in a constantly evolving environment. That's really, really cool. So there's always something for everybody, and the fact that you will be playing with literally hundreds upon hundreds of allies is going to be amazing. It's going to look spectacular. It's going to be fantastic. This game is going to be really cool. And if you've not applied for a beta key so far, it doesn't matter. They're staggering the release. So you can apply today at planetside2.com, I think it is. If you go to planetside2.com, you can still apply and get a beta key. They're going to stagger it. So you can get some beta keys, like they did with the WoW EU beta pass. The same sort of thing. They're going to stagger the release. At least they told us they're doing a staggered release, right? Unlike Blizzard. Oh, did I hit a nerve, Blizz? burns. Tss, oh. But yeah, go ahead and check PlanetSide 2 out. Okay, the one that you guys have been emailing me about most of the day. I was checking my emails while I was at the wake, which is the thing you do after the funeral. I was checking the emails out and stuff like that while everybody's talking and blah, blah, blah. The big one is, MMO Champion has posted this, is there's going to be 2 guilds at Gamescom doing a live WoW raid. Okay? There's going to be 2 guilds. And many of you have been asking, Preach, is it Method? Is it going to be Method? Will you be involved somehow? Will you? The answer to that is, I don't know. They haven't announced the 2 guilds that are going to be doing it. There was some discussion on the forums about a possible live raid. Can we do a live raid? Let's get in contact with Blizzard and see what happens. They've said they're going to be 2 guilds doing it. Hopefully Method is going to be one of them. Now, I'm going to be at Gamescom when this happens. So there's a possibility I will either... If it's Method, there's a big but here, okay, because nothing has been said. If it is Method, I probably won't be playing because there is far better geared and more experienced players. I'm still a trial, okay, so I'm unlikely to be playing. What I would love to do, I would really give my left testicle to do, is to be able to do the live casting for it, if that's possible. But that's if it's Method. It really is if it's Method, if the opportunity arises, and if somebody else from the guild doesn't want to do it. So that chance is there. So regarding is it Method playing at Gamescom, we don't know. The guild doesn't know. I can tell you right now, the guild doesn't know. So it's very possible it's not us. It's very possible that they've already spoke to some guilds. It could be Apex and Envy. It could be Apex and Envy. It could be someone like that. But I will be there anyway. So I would like to... I will speak to somebody there, see if you can do anything there. Why not try, you know? The worst they can say to me is no. I will go up to Blizzard and I'll be like, yo, dude, you doing this live raid tomorrow? Fucking give me the mic, baby. Give me the mic. Let me shout some fucking noise at the ballers out there and let them get interested in World of Warcraft raiding. Because we don't want something like, and I don't mean to offend them, but when we did the last battle, which was Vodka versus Method, and they had Athene and stuff, who didn't know anything about the current raid scene, it was tragic commentary. It was really bad. Really, really bad. They didn't really care. They were, oh, there's, you know, PvP and stuff like that. I would like to make the raid interesting, if at all possible. I would love to do that. So I don't know. It could be Paragon, not sure. Nobody's said yes, nobody's announced who it is. All I can say is there is a topic on our forum which is discussing this, and we were just told to hold on until they can release some information. So they might have been waiting for Blizzard to announce that the live raid is going on before telling us. I don't know how the business side of Method works. I don't know. But if I can be involved, I will try to be. That's all I'm going to say. I will try to be. A couple of extra topics to go on here, right? I wanted to address this first before I take your questions in here. Before I take your questions in the live stream, I will take them soon enough. There's 3 more topics I really want to cover. The first one was from Gmail. It was from a lady called Jessica. This is one of the most commonly asked questions that I ever get. It really is. It's a question I get all the time. Is what class should I play? Everybody likes to be sort of told something. It gives you the opportunity, I think, in many ways, to have someone to maybe blame if it doesn't work out. I think in the back of the mind, that's kind of the thing you're looking for. Now, Jessica in particular had played a long time ago, had a great time, is now coming back. What class should I play? And the other one is generally very linked to this, is what class is doing the most DPS, because I want to be doing the most. I want to see my name at the top of the damage meter. Which is all very well and good, and I completely understand your perspective. But that also falls into the category of flavour of the month. What happens is you cannot change classes that easily. Oh, warriors are doing top DPS now. I'm going to switch to a warrior. Well, they weren't doing in the previous patch, so you would have been something else then and swap into a warrior. And when you start doing that, you very rarely catch up to the point where you can be the #1 DPS because you put yourself behind by changing classes. That's what happens. Dedication and confidence in your class is what's most important. In terms of deciding what classes you could play, I can tell you right now in Mists of Pandaria Beta, Blizzard has done a damn fine job of basically getting every DPS spec pretty fucking close. They're very close. I'm talking 1, maybe 2k DPS difference between the top and the bottom. There are some exceptions that they're working on. They're aware of the problems. They're working on it. Warriors is one of them. Warriors tend to be a little bit low unless they can do some AoE. And there's Ellie Shamans, which are just fucking miles ahead. You know, they're absolutely insane. But that's okay. They tend to be balanced out. So the main thing, and I always stress this enough and stress this as much as humanly possible, is pick a class you enjoy and stick with it, because eventually your time in the sun will come. Your time will come. It will happen for you. Believe me, it happens to every spec at some point, is they become really cool, really fun, and start smashing the DPS meters. If not, you're likely to be down the bottom. If your play is good, if you're confident in your ability to play, because most people re-roll to the flavor of the month, and then they blame gear or something along those lines, and it's in fact just your personal play. If you're in the mid-level guilds, it doesn't really matter what class you are. If you are a really good player, you'll tend to be topping the damage meters anyway over what supposedly is the theoretical top. So don't worry about what class you should play. Try them out. I strongly encourage you just to try out all the classes up to about level 30. Level 30 takes no time at all. It takes a couple of hours. So you're talking maybe 20 hours, which is less than a day, just to try out every single class and just get a feel for it, get to understand it, and which one do you go, ooh, I like that. To give you an example, I played a warrior for the first time in vanilla. My very first class was a warrior. I couldn't play at endgame. There was just no room for warriors. There was 1 million warriors. And all the warriors had to be tanks. Now, the irony is, I never wanted to tank. I was a DPS warrior. Fuck yeah, I'm fucking Spartan Leonidas, bitch. I don't tank. Tanking looked really difficult, and it was in vanilla. I didn't want any of that. I was like, I want to smash things with my big two-handed sword. You know, I was really young then and all that kind of stuff, and that's cool. The irony is, of course, I just love to tank. It actually turned out when I tried it, I was like, wow, this is for me. And I put that off till like TBC. I really did. I put that off for so long. And then I finally tanked something, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I was even a holy paladin on Horde side before I tried tanking on a warrior. That's how long I delayed finding my niche. I really did find my niche. So give it everything a try. Don't worry about it. It's not up to me to tell you what class to play. It's up to you to find out. Okay? It's the easiest way I can say it to you is it's not up to anybody else. Don't look at the damage meters because everybody's pretty close. Find what you enjoy and stick with it because your time will come. And if you play hard and you learn your class and you learn some tips and tricks like we do in the workshops, your time will come and you'll be shining really brightly and you'll have a great time. That's cool. Okay, the other question. Oh, do you want to do the daily comment? There's nothing better than coming home from a funeral and finding this waiting for you in your inbox. Oh, Marvin, oh, like, oh, wow. Marvin 0, oh, like, oh, wow. Like, oh, wow. Marvin, oh, like, oh, wow. He says, gay. Hey, Mike, preach wow. Gay. I'm so fucking furious right now. He watched the Combat Rogue gameplay of Mr. Pandaria. Gay. Fucking hey, Marvin, oh, like a wow. Like a wow. Gay. I just have to picture it, this sternest of stern voices. Gay. You are gay. You are gay. Oh, he didn't even say you are, it's just gay. Fucking funny. Oh man, I love it. It takes me so fucking long to find a troll comment, but when I do, it's always brilliant. It's always just like, gay. You are gay. Thank you very much for that, Marvin. You're a gangster. Okay, what did Blizzard say today that was funny? Not much going on in other game news, really. But Blizzard says people are complaining there's too many levels. There are too many levels. The numbers are too high. This is something I really wanted to address. I think I mentioned it in probably a mailbox ages ago. The crux of this is the numbers have just gone way out of hand, right? They've gone crazy. HP is insane. Like on the beta right now in just the first tier of raiding, my tank has over 500,000 HP. What? What relative number is that? 500,000 HP? It means the numbers don't mean anything anymore, okay? And this is starting to apply to levels. We're expecting, according to the leaked expansion thing, that we're about to... World of Warcraft should finish around about level 100. Which makes sense, a nice round number, an arbitrary round figure that doesn't make any sense, okay? You've got this random arbitrary level 100. We decided what level 100 is. It's like Spinal Tap. I don't know if you guys know Spinal Tap, but if you don't, you should find it and watch it. It's a movie about turning things to 11 because 11's louder. And the guy just says, well, why don't you just make 10 louder and then it's just normal, okay? I mean, it doesn't matter what the number is. It's an arbitrary figure applied to anything. But the guy goes, no, well, 11's louder. Yeah, but you could just change whatever 11 is to 10 and it's still the same. No, but 11's louder because 11 is one more than 10. People love arbitrary numbers. They love the fact that their Mortal Strike crits for 164,642 rather than 3,000, right? People love that arbitrary number, although it means no sense whatsoever. It doesn't relate to fucking anyway. Yeah, I'm doing, as it's just put there, God Seagull's just put there, I'm doing mega damage! I'm doing huge amounts of DPS. Yeah, but everybody else is as well, and the boss has 700 million HP. So it makes no fucking difference whatsoever in the world. It doesn't matter if you were critting. Oh, my execute just crit for 500,000. Oh, really? So fucking what? It's insane. But yeah, the numbers are just going. And Ghostcrawler's a gangster, by the way. Don't give Ghostcrawler any hate. Ghostcrawler's my baller, man. Me and Ghostcrawler will be like that. Ghostcrawler said, well, we've talked about it in the office and we totally agree. The numbers are just ridiculous now. We would like to scale them back. Because what happened is we went from vanilla to TBC. At the end of vanilla, we had people in hugely inflated gear around about tier 3 level. So we needed to make sure that level... oh my god. Wait a minute. Level 61 met the tier 3 standard. Otherwise, people would just be like way over gearing the next 10 levels up to level 70. I totally forgot what level vanilla WoW was then. Are you kidding me? And then of course Wrath of the Lich King came and the numbers were like doubled again. And then of course Cataclysm came, the numbers were doubled again. So every few levels we're just getting this huge double jump in HP, damage, all stats, and of course the levels are just getting up to like 85. 85 is quite an imposing number. It really is. In terms of levels, you start at level 0 and you got to level 85. Around about level 40 or 30, I think your level starts noticeably slowing down. And then you think, I'm not even halfway through. And that's actually, even though the number is completely arbitrary, the number just makes no sense. It's just a fictional figure applied to the game. People say, oh, I'm under halfway there. I mean, in essence, all they could do is change it down to level 60 again. Level 60 is now the new cap in Mr. Pandaria. And we're just going to change the level back down. It's the same amount of XP. This is the thing. They can make the XP the same. It doesn't matter at all. It's just an arbitrary number. But what they are agreeing on, and they wanted to change this. Now, the people who screwed this up were the player base. The player base were like, we don't want to hit for 4,000. That's not fun. Well, it is fun. 4,000 is as fun as 400,000 when the numbers are relative. If someone's got 10k HP and you're hitting for 4,000, that's good news. If someone's got 500k HP and you're hitting for 100,000, it's, you know, it's not fucking different. It's no different at all. But the problem is now a difference between a level 0. This is the problem, okay? Overall, it seems like, well, if it's arbitrary, why does it matter? The difference is the difference between a level 1 or even a level 60, between a level 90, is just obscenely different. It's crazily different. There is no possibility whatsoever. There were some great times in vanilla where you had a load of level 40s attacking a level 60. They had a chance of winning. They really did. They had a chance of winning. You had a level 60 against a level 90, or even a level 80 versus a level 90. They've not got a fucking chance in hell. Are you kidding me? They couldn't do all that damage in a lifetime, let alone the fact they can barely hit the guy anyway. You know, it can't be done. So they want to squish it all back down. What they want to do is make it so that vanilla to TBC, there isn't a big gear jump because nobody's farming AQ40. Really? You get into level 60 and farming AQ40 before you go to level 61? No! Nobody's doing that. And if you do that, fair play to you. You're fucking retarded. You get me? So that's not happening. What we want to do is just squish it all back down and get it to nice relative linear progression, and maybe even drop the level numbers down, because people look at those numbers and they take something away from them. They really do say, oh, I'm less than halfway, you know, or the levels are getting big now. Imagine what they're going to be like at level 80. Ugh. Well, if that was like level 30 and level 60, that's not too bad, is it? You know, really? It's not that bad at all. That's the only thing I think about. This number squish could go on, but the community went insane. The community was like, no! You cannot change our numbers! Our numbers must remain the same. They must get doubled because being double the HP is fun. Although the boss has double the amount of HP and just double the damage, so it makes no difference at all. This needs to stay the same. And of course the community backlashed it. By the way, I got paid today from YouTube. I got paid today on the funeral day, and I got paid hardly anything on my first month of going solo. Do you know why? Do you know why? The statistics for my channel? Get this. I can't believe you guys. Only 1/4 of you don't use adblock. Fuck me, guys. You jokers. You jokers. So I had like 560,000 views. Less than, I think, 100,000 of them actually earned me anything, because everybody was ad blocking them all. Thanks very much, guys. You fuckers. So that's what I wanted to get to there, is the number squish. They're complaining about it now in terms of levels, and it feels like the leveling is too long. It's an arbitrary number, the level 85 thing. They could change it to anything. They can change the XP numbers. It doesn't really matter. But there's a nice Journey. Oh, I'm going to get it in every single web show. I'm going to do it in every daily. I'm going to mention the word journey just for you guys. Let's take some questions. Questions before I go and relax my voice, because I'm filming stuff for you guys now. Filming stuff. People get upset about glyph changes. They think they are losing something, but most of the time its previous glyph skills are not automatic. Yeah, this is exactly the same thing. I don't get my glyph of Mortal Strike anymore that hits 10% harder. Yeah, but Mortal Strike just hits 10% harder. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff. Don't stop believing in the journey. Mike, where do you work and what do you work as? I work in this room doing this. This is my job. This is what I do. I produce content for YouTube, various different stuff, and we're growing. It's good news. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom about the YouTube stuff. Since I went full-time, I've grown the channel by an extra 100,000 views a month. I wanted to save that knowledge for the guys. For the actual team, because it's good news. I mean, if you've never been to preachgaming.com, I recommend you go there and you read a thread that I wrote called The Plan, the long-term plan of this. This isn't like, oh, I can make some money from YouTube so I don't have to do a normal day job anymore. I gave up quite a decent job. I did. It earned, well, according to today's payment, earned about 4 or 5 times more than this job earns. But relatively speaking, there's a long-term plan, including bringing Ghost on. That's going to be immense. If I can make that happen, the channel will just explode. I guarantee that. If I can have access to Ghost and he can join in what we do, sweetness. Sweetness. If you're going to play with the fans, I'm likely going to do that at the 24-hour live stream for the Mr. Pandaria launch, because the servers will be sort of bullshit. We'll set something up then. That is a big project that involves a sort of team effort. You might think, yeah, Preacher, you could just play from here. As I'm running everything solo and I'm trying to grow the channel, it seems retarded, right? It seems ridiculous that what I do now is sort of play games for a living and find stuff that you guys will maybe find interesting. That's what I do. I don't do a let's play of me playing, like Dead Space 1. I did the Dead Space 1 review in, what was it, 6 minutes? So that game took me 10 hours to complete, and I condensed it down into a 6-minute video for you guys. Because no spoilers or anything like that. We're definitely not one of those channels that does Let's Play. So I play a game for 10 hours and make 50 videos out of it so you can watch it over and over again. Shoot me in the head. Boom! No, not at all. What I do is I go through a game and I look for things you might find interesting or that might help you. That's the more important things that might help you. It happens to a lot. That's why when I do, let's say, I've done the Holy Priest video. That was supposed to go out yesterday, but I didn't have time to finish it. I played 4 or 5 heroics for the Holy Priest video until I found something I thought was pretty cool. And that's the stuff I will cherry pick out and put together. So although I play games a lot, it takes up a lot of time. I put 10 hours into Dead Space to get a 6-minute video, which nobody watched. Oh, that's a burn. Oh, there was another question. I'm so newbie. It was actually from the Daily Preach question. Yay! It was from Nancy Brewer. I'm on the US server, and when I queue for a random dungeon, our battle group often put me with players from the Brazilian servers. Often, you will get a tank pulling at the rate of molasses. What's a molasse? Can you answer in the chat what a molasse is? Or a healer in their DPS spec. Come on, we don't see healers in DPS specs anymore. Surely, no way. Not even Brazil's that crazy. They've got capoeira, motherfucker. Surely they're not rolling like that. Now, the issue is they don't speak or understand English. Is this also a common problem in the EU servers with so many languages in one region? And you get any suggestions for us balls on the other side of the pond? The language barrier. The language barrier is... I can only speak for the EU servers. Now, I know from speaking to Genji, there was a huge problem in the US servers where he is, because he's on the West Coast. Genji lives on the West Coast, and he got paired up a lot of time with the Australians. Now, one of the problems with their whole raiding thing wasn't the language barrier, but it was just the time difference. Like Australia to the West Coast, it was really tricky to organise raids and stuff, and you'd end up raiding at ridiculous times. It was really a struggle for him. I don't think in South America they've adopted the English language anywhere near as much as all of Europe has. Now, whether I can't speak for everybody, but I've travelled the world a lot. I've pretty much hit most of the major countries in the world and repeated times. I've been to Egypt 4 times. I really enjoy diving. One of my hobbies is diving. I love reef diving and stuff like that, and so does Emma. So we go to Egypt a lot. We've been to Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, most of Europe. Everybody I meet speaks English. English is just more and more. I know it's still, you know, is it Mandarin? Mandarin is still the predominant language in the world, but that's purely because there's so many people there. So it wins by default for having so many people. But in terms of Europe, I have not met anybody when I traveled to Spain, to Greece, to Italy, who did not speak English. It just didn't happen. And the people that didn't speak English were just older generations of people. It seems to be that English is just so easy. The English language is an atrocious language. It's incredibly basic compared to most languages. It's almost like a sloppy version of a language. It's very, very easy to pick up. And that's not being egotistical. I've been told that by people who have to learn it. If you compare learning something like German to English, English is just comparatively so much easier because there's no different takes on languages, there's no twist, there's no female and male versions of saying certain pronunciations. It's just literally the most bastardized, easiest language to learn in the world. As such, everybody's learning it and everybody's picking it up. And obviously, the more people who learn English spread that onto other people, and language is coming predominant. I'd love to see you guys on it. I know some guys are saying English is not easy, but it is. In comparative, it is easy language. It's one of the most easiest languages in the world. It's kind of like one of those languages you expect aliens to land and speak English. Well, of course, most of these films are made in America, so therefore they must speak English. But I think if aliens did land, and I think in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they call it the English language is actually considered is so basic it's considered as a disease across the universe because it's such a Nolan caveman form of of speaking to each other. The proof is right here. I guarantee that most people in this chat right now are not from the UK, but everybody understands me. I've very rarely played with a lot of English people while gaming. I found one guild that was predominantly English, and that was fine. But I play with Romanians, I play with Ukrainians, I play with Dutch people a lot. Like Stefan's Dutch, Blubzar's Dutch. All my close friends are not from England. Besides Ghost, they're not from England. And we all speak perfectly fine. In fact, most times I get really annoyed when Greek friends of mine, especially well-educated ones, speak better English than I do. They can pronounce words that I haven't used in years. They have such a wide vocabulary of English, it really makes... Look at everyone. Yeah, Mandarin and Cantonese, fuck no. But yeah, so from the US side, I'm not really sure. I think it's more in the US. I'm just guessing here. So you can all jump down my throat as much as possible for any Americans out there. I think people in America, especially, I want to say minorities, but, you know, other people of ethnic persuasion are much more, what's the word? Proud of their heritage in terms of keeping their, like, Latin roots or keeping their Spanish roots or keeping their, you know, roots from Africa or wherever they may be from, their Chinese roots, their Japanese roots, whatever it might be, and sort of try to stand in their social groups speaking such a language. In Europe, it feels very different. If I log Vent into a conversation, let's say, between Untrial and Blubzar, who are both Dutch, and they'll be speaking Dutch to each other, they stop instantly, without question, and start speaking English if I join the channel. When I was in the US, and I went up to a couple of Latino people who were speaking a different language to me, they continued to speak that way to each other and then spoke English to ask me a question. That doesn't seem to happen in Europe. That doesn't seem to happen. So I can't really help you with that other than say, yes, it is slightly different in Europe. It's very common to see, in fact, a good example is, it's very common to see in Looking for Raid, if someone speaks their native language that isn't English, even for other foreign people will argue with them and tell them to speak English. Of course, it's the Samuel L. Jackson line, isn't it? Speak English, motherfucker. But you will see Ukrainian people telling Dutch people to speak English. I find that so incredibly bizarre, and I, in many ways, feel myself very blessed that I was born into this language, because I'm terrible with languages. I learned French and German in my educational lifetime, and I just dislike them both, because English just seems so much easier to learn. The US State Department does that. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. But it just feels that way to me. I'm sure I'm probably wrong. But I know over here, everybody I spoke to, like, we have a huge mix of culture. In fact, Manchester, I'm really fucking lucky in this sense. I seriously am. I don't appreciate it sometimes, and you should appreciate shit like this. Manchester is one of the cultural capitals of the world. Per capita, there is such a random mix of people. I think only Manhattan Island New York, Manhattan Island, is the only place that is more culturally diverse than Manchester. Manchester is insane. It is incredibly crazy in terms of the different cultures, the different sexual orientations, all that kind of stuff that you can see anywhere in the streets. Anywhere at all. It's a true story. I've told this before, is we had someone from Idaho marry into our family. They met over the internet. Sort of not close relatives, but reasonably close. She had never seen a black person, and that's no word of a lie. Never seen a black person. And to me, that was insane. There was at least 9 or 10 different religions, let alone skin colours and variations of nationality in my first primary school class, which is like grade school, you know? Insane stuff, really crazy. English is hard due to irregulars. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, America. Alright guys, I think that's me done for today. I've got loads to do. I've got to meet Ghosty and we're going to film all the fun stuff for the game show tomorrow. I strongly encourage you to send us a brofist, so you can be here or you can be behind me here, and especially be on the web show, because it really just makes us happy to have you guys relate to us. Send them to preachgaming@gmail.com, and please tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock for what should be the quiz show, or the game show is designed around being incredibly silly. There's nothing serious in it whatsoever. But hopefully it's going to be funny. I don't want to say I'm funny, because that's such... I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. But we're trying to be funny. So you can come and watch us try to be funny. Alright, I'm going to play the outro, and then I will take any quick questions that you guys have for me. So you take it easy and have a great day, ballers.